Hi, welcome to week 2 in our isolation, socially distancing church stuff. I have with me a number of my friends here. Of course, the creature. I have Molson, my golden bear. I have Schrodinger's cat, he wasn't certain if he was going to be able to show up tonight or not. And so I am going to ask you all to open up your hymn books to all creatures of our God and King, and we'll start singing right along, right?
Yep, you took one home, right? Number 63, yeah.
63 or whatever.
Here we go. Lift up your voice and
Free bird! Free bird!
Jerusalem!
Mustang Sally! Play Mustang Sally!
Quiet down!
Ride, Sally, ride!
Oh, man.
Can you please play something for my friends and I to dance to?
Could I play something that your friends and you could dance to?
Yeah.
Maybe later. Okay, maybe later. Anyway, as you can tell, I've been missing the heckling that's been going on in our normal services. So we're just going to shut the organ off for now. I want to give thanks to my friend who, we got to be careful as we're going online here that things I might normally do in our normal service, such as I have to be careful of, such as naming people's names, product placement. This is why some of these guys are sitting in front of the particular type of keyboard that I have here. Please bear with me as we go through the learning curve together. My fellow church members, my fellow Facebook members, my friends, my musical family, whom that whole thing was a nice salute to. And I hope some of you got it. And so as we go through this and try to maintain sanity, remember, God has a sense of humor. And if you don't believe that, look at your foot. And look how
my foot's nice.
You have a nice foot.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yours, well, I guess you're right. They are pretty funny.
Pretty ugly.
Yeah, well.
Ugly. I miss playing the hymns. I miss hearing the singing. And we're all missing all kinds of things. And some of it is getting us angry. Some of us are getting anxious about it. Some of us don't quite know what to do. I have been a very famous introvert. So I know what to do with some of this stuff.
What, you?
But yes.
No, you're not.
Yes. So a lot of us need to help each other, uplift each other, keep each other in prayer during these times. I wanted to read from the Bible. I wanted to read part of one psalm, which is a song, and go through another song or psalm that you've probably heard very often. This is the 23rd Psalm, and I'm going to start in the 22nd Psalm. This library of books that you can walk into, pick up a book that's in here, read the book, and have it talk to you, have it say what it will to you. I believe that it speaks to our hearts. It can give us all kinds of wisdom, as I talked about last week, and give us all kinds of comfort, which is what the 23rd Psalm is all about. You've heard it said or read it in the little cards if you've been to a funeral. It's very commonly said there. It's an interesting psalm. It's a comforting psalm. But here's a psalm that I've always found very comforting for myself. It's the 22nd Psalm. And it's quite a
I have to slide it down a little bit.
The crowd is moving away from me again. Anyway, I've always found it very comforting for the struggles that I go through. And I'll tell you why it's comforting to me after I read a little bit of it. It's very famous because it was said by another quite famous person at a very, very bad time for him. And it's the 22nd Psalm starts off, my God, why have you forsaken me? which are those are the words of Christ as he was on the cross. Very, very dire time, a horrid, horrid time. And these are the words that Jesus said, which I've always felt amazing. I've always felt that just, here's Jesus, who was, I believe, was God in flesh, Emmanuel, the Savior, in the act of salvation for us, in the act of grace for us. And he doesn't, for whatever reason, my God, why have you forsaken me, comes out of his mouth. Incredibly strong stuff. Why art thou so far from helping me and from the words of my roaring? Oh my God, I cry in the daytime, but you don't hear me. And in the night season, I am not silent. Somebody's very angry here. Somebody's hurting and very, very angry about whatever he's going through. And of course, many of these songs were written by King David, who had a number of bad times. Primarily because he goofed up and he was responsible for the bad times. But there were other times where he just had to go through stuff that other people were going through as well, and he was angry about it. And I love this part of Scripture because it's comforting to me, because in it, I know that God understands exactly how I feel. That Jesus echoed those words, why have you forsaken me, tells me a lot about the grace and love of the Creator God. And it tells us a lot about the fact that we're not alone when we feel like that. That it's not necessarily sinful to feel like that, to yell at God. Oh my God, who would do that? What Christian would yell at God? I'll give you a hint. Almost all of them. Almost all of them, especially in times like these, where the air itself is full of virus and question marks. Will we get to come out Easter? That would be wonderful. Probably not, is not going to happen. Who knows? Nothing but question marks, and we're starting to get some answers here and there. It's starting to come together, but we have not any idea. We have no idea what tomorrow is going to bring us. But now I would like to direct you to the 23rd Psalm, because we don't know what tomorrow is going to bring us. And this is a psalm for that particular occurrence. The 23rd Psalm starts, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yes, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. We hear this at funerals a lot. People tend to think of that section of the valley of the shadow of death as being close to death's door. It's not. It's life. The valley of the shadow of death follows us the second we're born. Our time is limited. It's difficult to think about. A lot of people don't like to think about death. I, in particular, have never had a problem with it. Growing up in a family of coal miners from the Pennsylvania region, there were summers and springs when I was growing up where we were constantly going to funerals Both of my grandfathers were miners. They died. Both of the grandmothers had remarried, and there was all kinds of different uncles and aunts and cousins, but there was a lot of funerals that I went to as a young child growing up. And death was all over the place. My family kind of has a very unique sense of humor about life and death. Gallows humor, I suppose you could call it. Some people think it's kind of irreverent and rude, and they're right. They're right, because I don't know. The Lord grew us up a certain way. We have humor from God in order to try to help us rid ourselves of anxiety. There's times when you laugh because if you didn't laugh, you'd be screaming in rage or crying. The very front of Psalm 22. Why have you forsaken me? I cry in the daytime, but you're not hearing me. In the night, I'm crying. I'm not silent. But then the writer of this psalm goes on to say, but you are holy, you who inhabit the praises of Israel. Our fathers trusted in you. They trusted, and you did deliver them. This person who is so angry has to recognize the fact that he believes it was God that got him through the problem. Maybe not the problem that's making him angry right now, because there's question marks maybe in his future, and he doesn't realize what the story is. He doesn't know what to do about it. But if he thinks back on all the other troubled times that he's gone through before, he knows the one who's got him through. Our Lord, I believe, will get us through this. I have mentioned to my church members before, different dear ones who have passed on. I've had friends who have died from various types of cancer. We all have. I call it God healed them. Because I think he did. Yes, I miss them. We all do. We all miss the ones we love. But God brought them through in a different way. He's going to bring us through this in a way that's really hard to understand. But I don't have any doubt whatsoever that he's going to do it. Dip back into the 23rd Psalm. He makes me lie down in green pastures. In other words, he makes me take a break. He makes me have a vacation. He makes me. There's a lot of times, a lot of you, my friends, I know, are workaholics, and I can get into that grist mill myself. And I've got too much to do. I don't have time to relax. And God suddenly whacks you with something that you are in bed for 3 days because you can't move otherwise. He makes you try and take care of yourself in spite of yourself. Rest. Rest is a very godly component of life. The valley of the shadow of death can be walked through only if we have times of appropriate rest. That's how he's guiding us. He turns around and says, be quiet. Now the cat's echoing. This is great.
There is no rest. No, yes, there is. There is. She's the one that made me get out of bed this morning.
He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. Now, that's a very comforting picture for a lot of people. The still waters, you're thinking maybe of a creek or a pond or maybe a lake that you like to go to. He leads me beside calming, relaxing waters. If I might suggest, still waters is a problem. Still waters are where we get mosquitoes from. Okay? Still waters are those bodies of water where there is no current or very, very little current and not much is happening. When I have to wait in a waiting room for 3 hours, that's still waters. When I've been given a medical test and I have to wait 3 days to find out the answer, that's still waters. They're not relaxing. And in fact, what starts happening is the first part of Psalm 22. Where's my answer, God? And it's not there yet.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to freak out a little bit, and I'm getting angry about it, and God understands that. And if I just relaxed a little bit, he'll get me through it until the answer comes. When it comes. He leads me besides these times. He restores my soul at these times when I do a Psalm 22 and remember the other times that I've got through something because he got me through them. He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. He leads us to do what we ought to do for ourselves, for each other. He leads us to do that. He leads us not to pay so much attention to ourselves. He leads us to notice others, notice what they're going through. Last week I was talking about reasoning with God. Stop and reason with him. Stop and talk to him. Stop and try to listen to see if he's really talking to you or not, or showing you something or not. It's very difficult because with all the noise that goes on in our daily lives, not just now with all the craziness that surround the question marks out there. Yes, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. The shepherd uses a rod and a staff to make sure the sheep stay where they're supposed to be, where he's leading them, and they'll stay out of danger if they just follow his urgings. Now, I'm not talking about you're going to be blessed and you're never going to be sick. I'm not talking about anything like that. And by the way, why are there no faith healers going to these hospitals? Just a question that popped in my head. You're going to get sick, hopefully not from this particular virus, but you're going to have times where it's dismal. It's human. It's life. Nobody has ever lived without moments like that. Look to the Lord and he can bring you through them. Trust, as this person who was yelling at God just 2 seconds ago says, I'm going to trust you like my dad's did. like Israel did. The couple times they actually did.
That whole thing of not knowing where is God when you think that's our whole basis for VBS this year, isn't it?
Yes, Vacation Bible School that we're still planning for. Oh, a little bit of church business news. We're not holding that meeting, by the way, tomorrow. At any rate, yes, where is God when all that? He's in you.
Yeah.
He's in you if you let him be. He's not going to make you. He's not going to make you want him. He's not going to make you do the right thing. He wants to help guide you, choose to do it. And God is not a Führer. If anything, God is all about liberty. God is about freedom from our worst aspects to aspects about us that are beautiful and worthy and good and helpful. That's what God's about. He's about justice. He's about defending the fatherless. He's about feeding the orphan. He's about feeding and caring for the widow. That's God. The message last week, Jesus said, here was my commandment. Love each other as I have loved you. That's what it's about. That's what it's all about. That's a strength you can trust to get you through times of all kinds of weird question marks and anxiety and anger and heckling and being forced to maybe play Freebird or what have you, because it doesn't matter how many times maybe I've played it. Somebody wants to hear it because it will give them joy. So you know what I'm going to do? I'll play it. Do I like the song? Don't tell anybody, but no. But I know other people do. How am I going to act? I'm going to be God-driven and play something that somebody enjoys. I hope. You prepare a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup runs over. At times like this, you need to take a look at your blessings, and you've got tons of them. Can you see me right now? Can you hear me right now? Can you get up and walk away from this? Get some coffee and come back to it, because we're not, streaming it. It's recorded. Do you know how many can't do that? Do you understand the blessing that he gives each one of us? You might have a cheese box of an apartment, but you've got that. You've got that. Our cups run us over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. I can make a choice not to do that, and that choice seems kind of stupid. I can make a choice to be selfish, and you're going to get two messages in one today. Last week we celebrated my son Colin's birthday, his 27th birthday. Colin would not have been here if I had decided to be selfish and not decided to let God's goodness and mercy follow me. Because 28 years ago, this last week, my wife left me, taking my son, Ian, and my daughter, Karen, with her. My parents drove her. The problem was I had an addiction, and I was being a selfish pig and not trying to get some help for it. And the law was laid down to me that I could either be a husband and father, or I could remain being a selfish drunk, which I was. You know, last week when I said, I welcome all you heathens because I'm the chiefest among you, I was, yes, I was echoing Paul, but I'm sincere. I'm sincere. Yes, I might be a pastor, but many of you know I'm a pastor that slips and cusses from time to time. I'm a pastor that isn't perfect. I know no minister who is. I don't know anyone who is perfect. I made a decision on St. Patrick's Day. For an Irishman to give up drinking on St. Patrick's Day is insane. But that was the day that I stopped. I got help for it. I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I'm 28 years sober. And my son, Colin, who would have never been here if I hadn't have made that choice, turned 27. My cup runs over, because we have to make the choice sometimes to ignore ourselves, to deny ourselves, and take up his cross and go forward in love and in charity and in justice and in compassion one for another. Lifting each other up, having fun doing it, busting chops while we do it. The Bible, the disciples Peter and John bust each other's chops all the time. There's really funny moments in here. And I'll show them to you. Message me and I'll show you the verses I'm talking about. It's some pretty funny stuff. because God decided he wanted to work with goofy human beings to bring forth this grace and mercy and goodness that will follow us all the days of our lives. Choose him, and the question marks will seem a lot smaller. The anxieties will drift away. Maybe not go entirely, but they'll drift away. He will give you what you need to get through the next few minutes. That is really the only way I have been 28 years sober. One moment at a time. One moment at a time. This bear here is from the days when I used to drink. I called him Molson. Molson, the golden bear. You know, at times there was never a woman who looked so gorgeous as a green bottle of Molson ale with a lime stuck on the top of it. Wow, talk about temptation. And I looked to God and I said, who's going to know? And the answer came to me almost immediately. I will know. He'll know. We'll both know at the same time. He figured I was worth more than that. Goodness and mercy, strength, forgiveness, grace. I wish you all well. Continue to stay well this week. We're going to be doing this as long as we need to, as long as he keeps me here doing it. I plan to get better and better at it. Not quite have so many dead spots in the delivery. It's hard because at church it's a whole other dynamic. So, and I miss you all so much. I'm looking forward to a time when we can hug each other again and shake hands again. I want to thank the folks that helped set this up for me to do it. I want to thank the people who've been calling each other and keeping in touch, holding each other, our church members, and the people in our county, our state, who are doing incredible work. Just keep them up in prayer too. Grace be with you. Heavenly Father, I ask your blessing on each of my friends and family who are looking in on this message. Thank you for getting me through it. Thank you for the blessings you give us. Help us recognize them. Help us recognize that we need to be uplifting each other. Father, I ask your protection on all the people on the front lines of this, all the people that are working in healthcare, in any particular format or another. The people that are working in the restaurants for takeout food. They could have easily just said, the heck with it, and not done the heroic work they're doing. So many of our area restaurants and bars open to make sure that people have food, giving food away. It's amazing when compassion and justice is done through all the hands that you've given us to do that. For our elected officials, I pray that you help them make wise decisions. Help us stop berating them so every time they make one. Help us remember that these people are human too. Only sinners saved by grace. Bless each person here watching today. I ask it in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen. I don't know, should I play another hymn? No.
Yeah, play something uplifting, whatever.
Play something uplifting. Mustang Sally coming up.
Yeah, you'll have to pick up Schrodinger's cat. He decided to knock over.
Schrodinger's cat. Creature from life. Where the wild things are.
Yep.
Let's see.
Something in your style, whatever it may be. I could sing if you'd like. Or not.
blessed assurance.
Jesus is mine. Oh, what a foretaste of glory divine. Angels descending there from above. Whispers of love. This is my story. This is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. This is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long.
Should I play my version of this?
Yes, do your song because I don't have the words here.
God bless you. See you soon. Bye.